Hello guys, my name is Vados, and today I'd like to share with you guys my opinion on something I think has become a very major issue in our community, in our Naiad server. I think that this something is holding us back. This something doesn't let us become that kind of level of like Chinese players or Japanese players that are on top, that are currently dominating this servers and tournaments. And I will probably surprise you with this one. Yeah, I will shock you. So I want to talk about the community, and I'm not going to talk about stuff like, oh my god, this community is so toxic and unwelcoming and harsh to players, and it's very hard to deal with it, to deal with the stress. It's very basic, right? And everybody already knows this. It's been discussed for years now that IDV is getting more popular and older as they release the game. So I'm not going to talk about this, but it's still something that the community does. So I want to talk about constructive criticism. So I'm not sure if I named this topic like the good way, okay? I just don't know how to name my thoughts properly, but whatever. So what I'm trying to say is there are two types of people in this server that annoy me very, very much. So if you play competitively, so if you play rank matches, if you go to high tier, if you reach like, I don't know, unicorn, or whatever, or even higher, like you go to peak tier, you're playing the game competitively, right? And probably on this road to peak tier, you will make a lot of mistakes, right? So what do you do when you make mistakes? Obviously, you learn from them, right? So when I was on my journey to peak tier the first time, I always rewatched my gameplays that were defeats, always. And my win rate was like 45%, so I had to rewatch a lot of them. And I had to remember each and every mistake. Not like the context of this mistake, but I had to remember it like generally, to not repeat the same mistakes again. And now look at me. My win rate is like, I don't know, 20 or 30% higher. It's like 64 to 65%. And I'm almost peak tier again. Why did that happen? Well, in my opinion, is because I became better, because I learned from my mistakes. So what do you do on the road for your peak tier? Obviously, when you make mistakes, you learn from them. So what I'm trying to say is, when you make a mistake as a survivor or a hunter, if something points this mistake out and says, look, you've made this wrong, don't do this again. Oh my god, the message, I'm sorry. Don't do this again. What do? A, do you say, no, that's you is wrong. I'm on the right. I'm always right. I know how to play this game. I'm better. I'm smarter. I'm stronger. I'm always 2 steps ahead. Or whatever. And B, you say, well, yeah, right. I know, okay. You have a point. My bad. Sorry. Good luck on your next matches. Or something. What do you do? What do you say? Well, I don't know. I would have chosen, like, B, because obviously it prevents you from fighting the person, from receiving all this negativity, and it also helps you learn, because somebody does the job for you. You don't even have to rewatch your gameplays like I did, because I was a hunter. You don't have to do that. You don't have to think yourself. You don't have to search for your own mistakes. Somebody points them out for you. And this is a huge part of this job, to find a mistake, not just to remember it. So, yeah, in my opinion, when somebody gives you constructive criticism, I'm not saying that if somebody is like, oh my god, why did you pop that last cipher? You're so bad, you should delete the game. Of course, you're not supposed to react like, maybe like a victim. You're not supposed to react like that. Well, in my opinion, you shouldn't react at all, because why would you? Toxic players, you know? But if somebody gives you constructive criticism and says, you should have done, I don't know, this, you should have done that instead, in my opinion, you should listen. Especially if you're a low to mid-tier player, and even if you're high-tier. Because sometimes, even if you've played tens of thousands of matches, you still make mistakes. Game sense mistakes that have to be pointed out to you, and you have to remember them. And this is actually what made me actually think about making this video, right? And making this in the first place, because recently I've encountered this one player who has had like 21,000 21,000 of matches. Can you imagine that? Like, it's hours and hours and hours of experience. And they were picked in Survivor and in Hunter. So they were great at this game, probably, right? I don't know, I don't remember their win rate. But you would expect them to be great. Like, this is so many hours spent in this game. Yet, they've made a very huge mistake against me when I was playing Dreamwitch. And it was a game sense mistake, right? And I understand why would you make this mistake, because, yeah, you don't face Dreamwitch too much, right? And Dreamwitch is a hard hunter to face. She's difficult to counter. Well, not really difficult. She's pretty straightforward to counter, but she's difficult to counter in terms of being so complicated herself and having such a large kit, right? That's whatever. You made a mistake, even though you have such huge experience, and you know plenty of stuff about this game. You still made it. And an S-bed Dreamwitch comes up to you and says, damn, you made this mistake. Oh, by the way, I didn't just start this conversation myself. This person was attacking somebody else. Somebody who hasn't made... Okay, they did make a mistake, okay. They didn't made a mistake too, but it wasn't as big, okay? It wasn't as big. And so this toxic person we're talking about, they were just attacking this one player, their teammate. And I decided to counter argument them. I was like, damn, well you made a mistake too, like maybe think about it. And I decided to react aggressively. They were like, oh my god, I know much more about this game than you do. Well, maybe yes. Maybe you do know much about this game. You're better than me, clearly. You have twice as much experience as I do, okay? But I'm sure I know a lot more about Dreamwitch, okay? Not about the game, but about Dreamwitch. So I think I'm qualified to point these mistakes out, because you've made them. And even though you're such high tier, you're so experienced, you're so great at this, you shouldn't just get so cocky about it, okay? You shouldn't just place this crown on your head and be like, actually, I'm just that good, so nobody shall tell me otherwise. Nobody is telling you otherwise, actually. They're just, something you should remember, just not do again in the future. That's it. And the second, the second bit of players? I don't know. My words are leaving me, okay? This is 10th minute of me speaking in English, and this is hard, okay? This is getting really tough. So, the second group of players on the server, these are players who can't give constructive criticism. And this is probably going to be easier to grasp. In my opinion, these are just players who, they're right, okay? So somebody makes a mistake, and they decide to show that something, their mistake, something. Oh my god, someone, oh my god, no. I just called someone something. So, they decide to point this mistake out. But they do it in a wrong way. They decide to scream and shout and be all aggressive. And whenever you scream, whenever you being toxic, just the message doesn't get across. So why are you even starting this? Are you doing this just because you want to release your anger? Well, okay then, fair, I guess. Okay, but if you're doing this to improve your, I don't know, potential future teammates, because you don't know if you're going to encounter this random again in ranks, right? If you want to tell them this to improve them, you shouldn't be aggressive or passive aggressive or toxic or call them names or whatever, especially if they react positively. I mean, obviously if they're aggressive from the start, you shouldn't just, explain anything to them. You can just leave or you can just fight, do whatever you want. But if they're not starting this fight, perhaps don't start it yourself. Explain it neutrally. Don't be aggressive, because once again, if you're aggressive, if you're angry, if you're screaming at the person, well, you're not screaming at them, but like you're making them feel nervous. Weird words, okay? You make them feel hurt. The message doesn't get across. So that's what I'm going to say. And this is probably it. Yeah, this is probably what I wanted to say. Nothing I can think of. Yeah. So this was my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my talking session for 12 and a half minutes. I haven't spoken so long in English in ages, and this is exhausting my brain. Whatever. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching this video, for everything, for subscribing and liking me. You guys mean the world to me, I swear. So, see you guys on the next video. I love you all. Goodbye.